Hello, this is Christopher Muldong, the author of the fantasy adventure novel The Mustard Prince in the Condiment Kingdom. Today I am going to read the first 2.5 pages of the children's book, The Awesome Boxin Doxin, The Legend of a Wiener Dog, which is written by my friend Gary Christopherson. It is published by Tate Publishing and can be found also on Amazon.com. A little about the story, reading from the back cover. There once was a boy who had a problem. The problem was a big one to the boy, but it was really only a matter of how he looked at the problem. The boy wasn't quite sure what to do about this problem, but somehow he just knew he had to do something about it. This story sets the boy on a journey of discovery that leads to one of life's greatest lessons. It's a lesson about finding joy in a world full of problems. Gary Christopherson enjoys practicing Tai Chi and has been inspired along the way by his buddy Dodger Dog. Gary currently resides in Fountain Valley, California with Dodger and 2 other wiener dogs. So, with everything out of the way, let's get started on reading this. Okay, here we go. There once was a boy who had a problem. The problem was a big one to the boy, but it was really only a matter of how he looked at the problem. The boy wasn't quite sure what to do about this problem, but somehow he just knew he had to do something about it. So the next day after school, the boy went to visit his wise old grandfather who always seemed to know what to do. And the grandfather found this to be a great opportunity to teach the boy a wonderful lesson about a world with such problems. The boy, "Grandpa, why don't you ever get angry or upset? Nothing ever seems to bother you." The grandpa, "What is there to be upset about with so much joy in the world, son?" The boy, "What do you mean by joy? There are some kids at school who are picking on me. It makes me angry, and I want to do something about it, but I am afraid they might gang up on me. I want to learn how to fight so I can protect myself. My dad said that you used to be a good fighter, but I never see you get angry." The grandpa, "Well, son, you don't have to be angry to be a good fighter. In fact, the test of a true warrior lies in the fact that quite the opposite is true. The more joy you find in a world with anger and problems, the stronger you will become. You see, it's easy to find problems, but very difficult to find joy." The boy, "What? I don't get it." The grandpa, "Before you do something about these bullies at school, let me tell you a story about why I don't get angry. You see, I used to get angry, but it was brought to my attention that I should control my anger, or it would control me and cause me more problems. When your anger controls you, you spread more anger into the world, and you are no different than the bullies who are picking on you." The boy, "That's what my mom always says, and I don't believe it. If I learn how to fight good and beat them up, then they won't bother me anymore." The grandpa, "That might be true, but you should use courage to do what is right rather than anger, revenge, or brute force. It sounds simple enough, but if you reach a level of training, you can learn to apply it to any problem you may have throughout your life, not just in fighting. You see, when I was a young man about your age, I lived far away for a time in a distant land up in the mountains, where the fighters were legendary. I begged my parents to allow me to learn boxing and fighting techniques to defend myself because I also got picked on in school. So my parents allowed me to train and practice during the summers. I had access to some of the greatest teachers of all time. One summer." So the grandfather went on to tell the boy about his adventures far away one summer during his youth. He believed that the boy was old enough now to learn how to defend himself and thought that was important. More importantly, though, The grandfather wanted to impress upon the young man that the best fighters not only have great skill, but are able to defeat opponents without fighting at all. This was the mark of a true fighter, for it takes hard work and courage to overcome one's temper, fears, and pride. Even though the grandfather thought the boy would not understand this at first, he felt that in time he would come to realize it on his own. The grandfather continued with his story on how he did indeed become a good fighter and eventually a better person. The grandfather explained that he trained for hours and hours during the day and studied very hard at night. His teachers were some of the best ever. He copied all of their moves and did exactly as he was told. As he progressed, the grandfather was allowed into special training areas and was taught very special knowledge. But the most interesting thing happened one day that ultimately changed the way the grandfather thought about fighting and his problems. This discovery led to the greatest lesson of all, and one in which he just realized all on his own without having been taught. So that's it for this reading of the Awesome Boxin Doxin. If you want to read the rest, you can always go to Amazon.com. Check out Tate Publishing as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of the Awesome Boxin Doxin. I will also provide a link to be able to buy this book on Amazon below. So check that out when you can. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys very much.